Okay, the recording has started.
All right.
Hello, how are you doing? Who are you? Who am I? Where are we?
I mean, that's a perfectly valid question. I think we all need to go through that at some point. Anyway, I'm the Yume author known as Arva, which is short for Alex Rochon voice actor. I am the same Alex Rochon who voices Kane in The Amazing Digital Circus, which is a very, very, I guess you could say weird, like, dual life, sort of, but there is a connection that makes sense.
I'm a big fan of both Yume and the show. Um,
All right.
the most recent episode hit me like a fucking train.
Or
Good
like a
shit.
truck.
Yeah, that too. Hit a couple people like a truck.
Yeah.
It's funny. I still have the questions up from the convention, from the live interview that we did in at his signing booth. That unfortunately does not have audio. Um,
Yeah, that's a shame to hear about.
so the first question on the list is, "How has your convention been?" So that's funny. Um,
Um, well, on the whole, the convention was pretty good. I'd say I did pretty well in terms of traffic. Um,
that's good.
Sorry, I'm just kind of moving around on YNO. If you want to follow me to
Yeah,
my
let's go.
areas. All right, so con was good. I mean, saw a lot of old friends,
That's good.
mostly from the cast. Met a few new folks who were lovely. I met Alana Fitzgerald, who plays the lead in the Gaslight District, Glitch's newest show, for
Oh
the first
yeah,
time.
I saw the trailer of that after your panel ended. That was very nice. I might check
Yeah,
it out.
it's pretty good. So, yeah, I had a good time overall.
That's good. You like Vegas? It wasn't too hot. I don't know if you've ever
Uh,
been to a level up before. I go every year.
I've, I've never been to Nevada, period. Like,
Oh, well, you're pronouncing it correctly, so that's a start.
oh god, this whole debate. I've heard I heard people hate it when you pronounce it Nevada, so
Yeah, it means that you're not
I've
from here, and it's an easy way to tell.
exactly. So
I hope you enjoyed
I
it.
was
I
gonna
hope you
say,
didn't
like,
get caught up in all the gambling and all that tourist trap
I
stuff.
I played precisely one slot machine, and it was just to make a reference to Twin Peaks, which is my favorite television show. Apart from that, you mentioned the
Oh,
weather. I actually quite liked it. I'm for those who don't know, I'm Canadian. I live in Toronto, and I absolutely hate winter. I absolutely can't stand it.
I like the winters here because it's like the only time where it's not fucking destroying your head, melting hot. But it was nice over the weekend. I didn't expect it to be in the 70s, so that's good.
Yeah, it was perfect weather. I mean, I there is something to be said about things being too hot, but I will always take the heat over the cold. So I'm
I really
depending on
do.
who you ask, I'm probably a total freak for saying that.
I don't know. I like the cold. With the I always say it with the argument of, how do you deal with the cold? You put on more layers. How do you deal with the heat? You take off layers, but you're gonna run out of layers soon. So what do? Take off your skin? That's not very
Well, I
productive.
certainly prefer like not wearing layers because I find layers very restrictive.
Same here, but what are you gonna do?
Oh well. But yeah, like good stuff. I mean, sorry, at this point I feel like I'm rambling, so we
No,
should
you're
probably go to the
fine.
next question.
You're fine. You're fine. The next question is, hold on, I gotta scroll up. I want to take a bit actually to recognize the world that we're in currently. Stingray skies. How do you feel about the name? Because that's obviously a manta ray.
Yeah, like I internally the world is called Flying Manta, just kind of short for Flying Manta World. That was the name I kind of had in mind for it. Uh originally like the fossil area. I originally called Mosasaur Cavern, and the ruined skyline I called Vista of Ruin. But
Okay.
I guess given that the community chooses names, they felt others were perhaps better, and I've kind of grown accustomed to all of them. I think Prehistoric Passage is a better name overall because there's also a mammoth skeleton in there, so it's not
Hmm.
technically all about mosasaurs.
Yeah, and the Tukey
Uh,
community really loves their alliteration. That's for sure.
oh yeah.
Um,
So this world right here is technically my only full world. The other two maps we discussed, Prehistoric Passage and Ruined Skyline, are considered sub areas of Jared's Deep Red Wilds.
it's just a little passage.
Yeah.
So if you were to go on the Yume Tukey wiki and check the developer page for Arva, you will only see Seeing Ray Skies, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But you made
But
the other passages before this area too.
yeah. And I would say that, I mean, even though this is technically like the only full world I've done, I'm equally attached to all three of those areas because they
Hmm.
take a lot of different things from stuff I value.
Yeah, and how did you get there? Like, how did you get your start making stuff for Tukey? What made you say, I'm gonna put this in the game, and I'm gonna put
Uh,
this specifically in the game?
well, originally, like, um, I played Yume and really liked it.
Same, I think
I
that's how a
consider it,
lot of people start. Yeah.
yeah, because I had heard it was very influential on a lot of games like Undertale and Deltarune by extension, like with the whole Gaster Uboa kind of connection. And you can kind of see the thorough line from Yume to Undertale to Digital Circus because Gooseworks saw some of my old Spamton fan dubs and really
Hmm.
liked that and wanted to cast me as Kane because of that.
Yeah. So
But
the Amazing Digital Circus wouldn't happen if Yume Tukey didn't exist. Gotcha. Thanks.
or
That is
Yume
canon now.
anyways.
Both games. I actually found out the game not through Undertale or Deltarune. I found it through an old, very old Tats Top Videos video about like top
Oh my
10
god,
spookiest jump scares in you
I
know that
remember that channel. That
YouTube channel
my
with like
god.
the robot at the start being like viewer discretion is advised, that fucking thing. I don't know how to
Yeah, I
describe
remember
it,
that.
but
My god, that's
he did like a
ancient.
top 10 scariest Easter eggs in video games, and Uboa was one of them. And I'm like, that's interesting. I saw my friend
Yeah,
playing it on Steam a couple of years ago. Not a couple, it's been like 6 or 7 years ago at this point. I'm like, I remember this game. I need to try it out. And then I tried it out. And then I tried out the sequel. And now it's my favorite game. Um, I'm
I
like,
don't know where
ooh.
I'd put Yume in my overall favorite video games of all time list, or Niki for that matter, but I love them both for very different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, you know what's great about this? Because I don't have a line to worry about, we can kind of go at our own pace.
That's good. I did not think that that interview was 7 minutes total. Like I thought it was 20. I thought like we were taking too long. I saw people lining up and I just got shaky.
Hmm.
It like that physical interview was very nice. I am so sad it got lost, but it felt like it took a very long time, and that's not a bad thing. It's just like I was very aware of the time that it was taking, I guess you could say. Oh, I like this hand.
That's actually me looking at my own hand and spriting that.
Wow, that's incredible. Your right hand, I'm assuming, because of this angle.
Believe it or not, it's my left.
Oh, what? Oh my gosh. That's the lore I come
Yeah.
here for.
Uh,
Oh my
at
god.
least I'm pretty sure it's my left.
It looks like the back of your hand, or it could be the front.
No, it's meant to be my palm.
Oh, I see that now. I guess depending on how you look at it, it could be two different ways. Because the pinky bends. I'm not gonna dwell on it.
So yeah, there's that. Question was about how I.
How you got your
Or,
start making stuff for
oh yeah,
Tukey? What made
Oh,
you
yeah,
want to put this specific stuff into the game?
right. Well, I'll actually answer this and not get sidetracked this time. So I don't have a lot in the game. I kind of wanted the stuff I made to sort of stand out and not be like repeats of a lot of various motifs that you usually see in Tuki or other fan games
Right.
and
Teleport mazes, forest worlds, shoals.
shoals.
Yep.
Um, and I felt like I had originally a few ideas for like a longer route that I wanted to do, but I don't really feel like I have the artistic talent for it, or at least the spriting talent. And I felt like some of it could have potentially been repetitive compared to like other worlds in the game. So I just decided, you know what? Like, I think I'd rather prioritize like making a few worlds that I am really, really proud of and can realistically accomplish.
Mhm.
So I decided to go from making a longer route to just making an easy connection from a new Nexus world. And I wanted to give Deep Red Wilds a bit more utility, so I made Stingray Skies effectively as a bridge between it, the docks, which is where you get the infamous child effect,
Mhm.
and also Fountain World, which I just really like.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of connections to Found. Well, I guess there's been more now with Rubber Duck Islands that Jiv
Yeah.
made. I play tested that
Mhm.
update. There was a lot of there was a lot of bugs in that world specifically that we had to fix. It
I
was
mean, I
very
can
fun.
imagine it's got a pretty neat angle perspective to it.
And with the pools and jumping out of the pools, oh my god! Like the most common thing that you would run into was jumping into the pool and getting soft locked, and it was awful. But we fixed most of them,
So,
and I love that
yeah.
update. And I love how interconnected the game is becoming. Like one
Oh, yeah.
decision for you to connect to Fountain World opens up so many different possibilities. I know every single update that comes out, my Discord server, because it's also the official hub for Tuki speedrunning,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
as well as being the 80 Gap fan club. It
Yeah.
um, it goes into a fit every time new worlds get added and new connections get added because they're like, can this be used to save time? Is this path faster than the existing path? And it's a never ending Sisyphean task, you could say, of
Ironically, despite my original intent of like it, Stingray Skies kind of being like a faster route to the docks through Deep Red Wilds, ironically, it's faster if you go through Red Streetlight World.
is
So
that
I
might
guess
be because
I'm
of the long time it takes to get to Deep Red Wilds, right? The
yeah,
animation.
and also just like the length of the passageways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not, or I'm fine with that though, because ultimately, like, if you did go to Deep Red Wilds casually, it may not be great for speed running, but if you find this place, you'd still find the docks potentially, which is a pretty important location.
Yeah, it's been a while since I actually thought in the mind of a new 2 player. I've been playing this game since 2018. Been getting
Yeah,
through.
it's something I try to consider as well because like I went to college for game development, and
Okay.
while I didn't like coding, I really gravitate to level design and user experience. So that I made sure to really take into account when I designed these.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of the worlds themselves, I guess as part of this connection, do you want or question, do you want me to like talk about the thought process behind how I made these or where they came from?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, right now we're kind of looking at a few unique elements of Stingray Skies. Of course, you've got the floating stingrays, and you've got a car that's kind of like half buried.
The car, the
So,
hand, that's your left palm, or the back of your right hand. I'm still not quite sure. in my mind.
It's the palm of my left hand.
Okay, okay, all right.
But like, so
There's some areas over
this
here.
this world isn't really based off anything in particular, other than just a few kind of cool, disparate images that personally appeal to me. Like, I remember years ago, I found this like old Star Wars book that talked about every like intergalactic species in the universe, and one of them was this giant stingray manta ray alien thing that like drifts through space, and I always thought it was just such a cool, graceful looking image, so I decided to like make something kind of similar to that, like a flying manta or a flying stingray just gracefully flying through the sky.
That's a
And
very nice
then,
image. I do like worlds with
yeah.
stuff flying through the air. I know you mentioned in the live interview that we did, um, Flying
Mhm.
Fish World being one of your favorite worlds in 2K.
I would say that Flying Fish World is my favorite Tukey world.
Yeah.
It's
That's an upcoming
um
question,
oh yeah,
but
but
spoilers. I
continuing from that, the stuff here, like the what's it called? The car, the fish bones, which you can find near the Deep Red Wilds entrance. I'm just going there now. The fish bones are taken from. Have you ever heard of the Salton Sea?
No, I have not.
It's a place in California that used to be like a beach resort, formed around this sea that was created when a dam burst by accident, or something like
Ooh,
that.
okay.
And this sea did not exist normally. And eventually, for a while, it became this popular beach resort, but then it got like incredibly salty and it was starting to kill all the living organisms there. And so people eventually evacuated, and now this place is like this desiccated ruin of like abandoned homes and cars and fish skeletons, and there's even like an abandoned playground set, like a or like a swing set, like the thing that's in this world. A bunch of these are basically taken straight from the Salton Sea, like the fish bones,
Okay.
the car that's supposed to be swallowed up by salt,
That's
and
really cool.
again and again the what's it called? The swing set. But
Are we
the
driving our
hand,
bikes across
um,
salt right now?
I don't really know. I didn't really think of it as salt so much as like just floating rocks that things are kind of buried in, sort of like the sand or the salt,
Okay.
rather.
All right.
So you can think of it as whatever you wish. It's mostly just meant to be kind of a cool rocky footpath
It is a really cool
of
rocky
rocks
footpath.
floating in the sky.
I like the path. It reminds me a lot of, like I said, 4 times at this point, Dream
Yeah,
Genius little area connected to that one area place thing in the Nexus. Not Nexus, but the sub Nexus. I
I need to
don't know
play
what it's
Dream Genie
called.
at some point.
I like Dream Genie. It's my favorite YNFG because playing it makes me feel like I'm in a dream.
Hmm.
Because it's so. I'm gonna stick by.
So, so this place right here, the ruined skyline, I
Mhm.
based off an actual dream that I had when I was like a kid or something, where I remember in the dream I was looking out the window of my bedroom and I saw just I got the vibe that it was like the apocalypse or the end of the world, and on top of the usual skyline where my home was, there was this giant red glowing obelisk at night, and that image always like struck me as like kind of creepy and ominous, and like I don't know if this was like a harbinger of the end of the world or the thing that was causing it, or what, but just the vibe of that dream always stuck with me, and I wanted to do something with that in some form or another.
I think
Some of
this
the
is
buildings,
my favorite thing
pardon?
that you've made. I think this is my favorite thing you've made. I love the red and black aesthetic. Reminds me a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of stuff that I would draw with the whole silhouettes of skylines and urban areas.
Yeah.
I
And
like it.
last but not least, the prehistoric passage. So I'm Toronto born and raised, and in Toronto is a place called the Royal Ontario Museum. It's got a dinosaur exhibit where there's, of course, all sorts of skeletons that are hung from the ceiling and such. A lot of people seem to love it, but I don't. Uh, the
The
building
museum?
itself also is, yeah.
Oh,
I mean that exhibit.
okay.
The museum itself is great, but I mean the outside facade of it is pretty hideous. It's like this giant abstract like diamond shape that looks like it's going to crush you, and I don't know what the hell it means. It's like it's weird, but that's not related to the dinosaur exhibit. The dinosaur exhibit is just kind of ordinary, which is my problem with it, compared to the exhibit they used to have before it was renovated. This dinosaur exhibit was probably smaller, but it was kind of like this linear, kind of like atmospheric walk through like sort of simulated environments that had like trees and stuff in it, like for or like backdrops of things that kind of immerse you more into what things might have been like back in the day. So there was like a giant mammoth skeleton that's still at the museum to this day, although without cooler backdrops and such. But the room that always stuck with me was this dark cave-like room that looked like you were underwater, and there were a few mosasaur skeletons hanging in the room, and I just thought that was always just such a cool image, and I am so upset that it's gone. And I can't really find any images of it online because it's pretty old. I mean, it was renovated like what 20 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
so if like I can't really find the old exhibit to share that with the world, so I decided, fuck it, I'll recreate it myself. And here is
The connection to Deep Red
the
Wilds.
the connection to Deep Red Wilds, which has this big ol' thing, which is supposed to be like the head of a mammoth skeleton. You can kind of see like the
Mm.
tusks. Part of that is actually photoshopped using the actual image from the Royal Ontario Museum, but
Oh.
I did edit a bit of the sprite myself, so you can actually see both tusks. Because I think one of its tusks is actually missing
Mm.
in reality, so I decided, what the heck, I'll give it two. It looks cool that way.
It does.
And
I'm trying to get the
this,
right angle in my mind. I'm tilting
yeah,
my head around trying to see it. I see one of the tusks.
like,
Is the
you
other
can
one?
sort of see, like, around the level where I'm at, you can see one of the eyes, or like one of the eye sockets in the skull.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sort of see
Okay.
some teeth underneath, like, around this level, like, just next to the tusk.
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the scope of my worlds. Originally, I wanted to connect this to Judah's ice flow world, but that was when I wanted to do something that was like a deeper route, and I decided, meh, I'd rather do something that connects things in the game.
I do like Judah's maps. The whole
Judah's super underrated.
Judah's very I love Judah's whole like apocalypse motif that's going on in the world with
Scorched Wasteland,
Scorched Wasteland, the Paradise,
Paradise.
how it takes you away from the Scorched Wasteland, right? Because you need to
Yeah.
don't you need to make it snow in order to access Paradise? I don't know. I
No, you just have to go aboard the Ark.
okay. All right. Either way, love those worlds. Very underrated. Love the little penguin guy in Paradise.
Oh
Very
yeah,
cute
the
NPC.
penguins were cute.
So I do have another question for you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let's see here. So I know how you got all your ideas for these worlds, right?
Mhm.
But how do you find your motivation to actually make these worlds, draw them out, put them in the game, and that can extend to your voice acting work too. Like, how do you find your motivation to do all
Um,
this stuff?
I mean, because Tukey is just kind of a side hobby for me, I'd much rather be playing the game than actually making it.
Right.
So I don't have terribly many other ideas, or at least ideas that haven't been done by others, potentially better. And I'm pretty happy with the stuff I've got. There's like maybe one or two other worlds or rooms technically. Like I had I was working on like a little bedroom kind of location. I'm not
Okay.
sure where I would put that, but just kind of like a cute little room. And I am working on something with Noildoof.
Right. You were telling me about that at the
Yeah.
con.
So there is that. I'm And the thing is, I'm also like not much of an artist. I did sprite most of these things, like the stuff that weren't like public domain images, like
Hmm.
that background is public domain. The background in the next room is public domain, and the background of Stingray Skies is public domain.
Yeah, this is kind of why I asked this question because I'm not much of an artist too, and I find it very hard to draw stuff. I have a lot of ideas, but it's hard to put things out in the physical world.
Well, and that's the thing. Like for some of these, like I did draw these skeletons, and for that I kind of used well, I drew basically everything other than the backgrounds in this
Hmm.
world. The stalagmites and the sandy texture on the bottom, I kind of looked at how QXY sprited some of his worlds, namely the erratic pillar lands. So I decided to use that as an inspiration. And for the skeletons, I looked at how Noildoof sprited the giant ribcage skeleton thing from
Oh, Viridian
Viridian
Wasteland.
Wetlands. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, when I made
So
my
just
only, not my only Tukey world, but like
oh,
I have something in like RPG Maker 2003 that I worked on like 2 years ago, and I was trying to like,
so
what happens if I make a world? So I tried a little bit, and I got inspiration from Wateroo's Hidden Shoal, the way the water moves. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, how am I gonna create animated water? That's about as far as I got.
mhm. It definitely takes a lot of time and practice to get things exactly how you want them to
Yeah.
sometimes, because these skeletons took a while for me to sprite. It's not something that comes naturally to me.
Mhm. I can totally
I'm
see how getting inspiration from others, especially in Tukey, is a great way to work on your art because this is a
yeah,
very specific game with very specific engine limitations, right? So seeing how others manage to make this art despite the engine's limitations, because like you need like 16-bit colors, right? And
yeah.
you need to put it in a certain place, and you need to do this in a certain way. And seeing how other people did it and managed to overcome, I think, is a great way to get motivation to do it yourself.
Yeah. It's just a fun creative exercise, I find, although not something I would do like much more than in a very basic hobby capacity. Because again, I've got voiceover stuff as well, and I'm also quite lazy. So,
Right, of course. Me too. Right. I the stuff that I do for Tukey is very hobby based. Like I check. I'm a moderator for speedrun.com/Tukey. I check that like every 2 months, see if there's a new run. Um, I have some sprites in Sniper Bob's Worlds, and that's
that's
about it.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little stick figure king guy in Blue Restaurant, and the blue Cyclops in Holiday Hell. That's about it.
Hmm.
Those are my original creations.
Neat,
Um,
neat.
I make content every couple of months. I don't have a consistent schedule. I sometimes upload Tukey stuff. Like it's mostly 8-year gap content. Like when a new 8-year gap update came
Yeah.
out, the last one I uploaded 5 videos. So I get it. You love the game. You love playing the game, But making stuff for the game, you get a little lazy sometimes. I definitely understand.
Yeah. Plus, again, like until I have like a dream that I'd love to adapt into a world, something that I think is kind of unique and kind of fitting for what this game is, I think I'm good with the worlds I have. Those are like the most, I guess, original and interesting ideas I have.
Okay. So you get a lot of your inspiration from dreams. Like is the
Dreams, things I'm interested in, stuff like that. Like again, the only world I've made that's based off an actual dream is the ruined skyline and maybe the weird, maybe one of like the little room that I worked on a bit.
okay.
I mean, but other than that, a lot of it is just like things that I've seen or things that interest me that I think might work well together.
Right. Yeah, I hope you
Mhm.
find more time and motivation and I don't know. I would love to see more stuff from you in the future, no matter if I have to wait like 5 years or something. This game's
I
gonna
give it
stick
time.
around for a long time.
I mean,
I want to see a
I'm
Noil's
very
Drift
excited
collab
to see.
happen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited to see what she does with the assets that I gave her.
Yeah.
Because
This.
there are a few like basically without spoiling anything, I gave her a few like public domain assets that I edited that I think she could do something really good with. Like she's a much better spriter than I am, and I think she could complement the more realistic imagery better than me. So yeah,
This game's over. This game's older. No. I'm trying to think. How old is this game? It's gonna stick around for a while.
it's it's been around since I think 2007. It's like
Yeah.
18 years coming like I think May or June.
It's in May, I think, is the anniversary. That's insane
Yeah.
to think how
First time I'd ever even heard of Tukey was back in university when I was like I started getting into the old NES Godzilla creepypasta and some
Oh, I love that one.
I
Yeah.
think Cosby Daff himself made like if each world had a soundtrack, what would that kind of be? And one of the worlds used the Hospital Outskirts theme from Tukey, and I was like, "What's Yuma Tukey?"
What is that from?
And and just that whole thing stuck with me for a while, and I was like, okay. When I was getting into Yumaniki fan games, or when I was getting into Yumaniki in general, I always wanted to try out some of the fan games because I'd heard they were pretty interesting, and I remembered Tuki, and I was like, okay, I should try that. And now here I am.
Right? I think it was one of the first fan games I don't know if I played Tuki or Dot Flow first, but it was one of those.
I played Dot Flow before Tuki, but then after that, yeah.
I played some yeah. In the pre YNO days when you had to actually change your system locale and download it and do all that wacky stuff in order for your computer to run Tuki and the other fan games.
Right.
That was fun. And then this website came along, and I'm very glad that this website came along with all the badges and different fan games and collective unconscious and
Oh yeah, it's made this whole category of fan game just so much more accessible to everyone, basically.
so much more accessible and so much more fun too.
Yeah.
Taking the dream game exploration thing, turning it into an MMORPG with parties and daily quests and achievements. Very fun.
Mhm.
I love all the art that comes out of this. I'm a big fan of art.
Same.
I'm a big art fan. Speaking
I go to
of what?
yeah.
What'd you say?
I was just gonna say I love art too. I go to museums and galleries a lot.
I have a big
It,
bucket list of museums I want to visit.
oh hey, like whereabouts?
All the famous ones with all the famous paintings.
I mean, I
Uh,
was just in London for a
ooh,
convention earlier in April, and I can safely say that the National Gallery in London is pretty excellent.
that is one of the ones on my list. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, while I'm
Speaking.
here,
Oh, yeah.
uh, this golden orb thing, that is a direct reference to Twin Peaks, which is my favorite television show.
Okay. I've never watched it,
If
so I don't know.
for the potentially zero people watching who have ever seen Twin Peaks, you'd probably understand, but yeah.
I don't get it. I'm sorry, but
It's okay.
speaking of art and artwork, I wanted to know what your personal favorite piece of Tuki content is.
I mean, I
World,
gave the example
OST,
earlier of
wallpaper, menu theme. I know your favorite
um
world is Flying
it's
Fish
Flying
World.
Fish World.
Do you have like a favorite
I also
OST?
um there are a few. I actually made a post about it somewhere. Let me find it. Um from
I'd say favorite menu theme too, but mine's pretty basic. I use menu theme 0 for everything. It's the black one with the white outline. Over 100 different menu themes in this game, and I choose to stick with one of the ones that are unlocked by this, like unlocked by
oh yeah.
default.
Oh, okay. Wind turbine plateaus music I really like. I That's why I used it in Stingray Skies. It was one of the inspirations for the world. It was just like I I dreamt once about like seeing, I don't know, maybe it was like Moriwo had continued their sector and or something like that, but I just remember like dreaming about that world in particular, and it's just like I don't know, something about it always resonated with me, and so the music in particular was a big reason.
I do like
I
that kind of aesthetic. A sleeper hit world for me is
Mhm.
80 Gap's like Windswept Fields. You get there from like the checkered, I think it's checkered postal path. It's
Yeah,
the one with
I know that one.
the mailboxes everywhere, and then you get into the world itself, and you step out of a windmill with just pure grass everywhere and the sound of howling wind. That's it. And
Yeah,
I got in for the first time, and I'm like, whoa! I don't know why this hits, but it kind of hits.
I mean, that's the
The
thing about art. Like, everyone's got their own kind of take on it. Things resonate different. Yeah. Another favorite thing of mine from Tukey is the music for Burgundy Flats is very, very nice. And
Ooh, yeah.
it's also its variant that's used in Nautico's Sunset Mesa.
I was gonna say, like, what part of what part of Burgundy Flats? Because it has some banger tracks,
Oh, yeah.
especially with all the hidden areas of Burgundy Flats that you can visit. Like the hidden cliff area is beautiful music.
Hmm.
Um,
I would say just like the main area.
the main area
It's
is also
my
beautiful music too.
it's it's my computer's menu theme.
Oh, nice.
Um,
I had the OST.
but yeah,
I've had the OST playing ever since you mentioned it. I'm gonna mute the site again so we can hear each other better.
in terms
But
of worlds, apart from Flying Fish World, I've got like a whole list of my absolute tip top favorites. You'd also see Ocean Floor there,
mm-hmm.
Flesh Flesh Path's World,
Oh yeah, of course. Ocean Floor's got Squidward. Flash Pass World got the
by
spooky area.
extension, the Nostalgic House.
Ooh, the house. Yep.
Realistic Beach, I think, was when I really fell in love with Tukey, along with
Oh
Flying
yeah.
Fish World. Um, Overgrown City is
Seagull.ogg. Love
oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah, with realistic beach.
Overgrown City. I love the atmosphere, and I don't think there's a single world that felt like that desolate.
Overgrown City. That's 2i9, right? Or
No, that's Wataru.
oh, Wateroo's Overgrown City. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
and how that one eventually leads into, like, after all this desolation
I think
leading
I'm
into the
thinking of Overgrown
aquarium.
Condominium.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All that desolation that leads into, like, the aquarium room and then the Victorian drains with all that color. Mm, it's beautiful. It's art. It's art.
It is art. It is. I do love Wataru. I was very sad when he left. Very happy when he returned.
Oh yeah.
Um, I've held
Um,
the, or I actually held the record, the speedrun record for getting to the bottom of depths in real time for a while,
damn.
for a while, and then it got taken from me. But like for a couple years, like like December 2019, I thought I love these worlds so much. I'm gonna get to the bottom of depths as fast as possible, and I got on the leaderboard. So ever since like December of 2019, I've been speedrunning that specific route and loving that specific route.
Hmm.
And Overgrown City has been like a really small part because if you do the speedrun route, you only see a little bit of it before you get over to like Transmission Tower World, like the next area. But when I first explored it really for the first time, I'm like, wow, I've been missing out on a lot. And seeing all this area and getting the badges for this thing and that thing. And it was that long. Yes. I waited like 3 years before I actually explored that world fully. I've always loved Watery stuff, even if I
Yeah,
had only taken a brief stroll through it.
it's a bit of a trek, but it's worth it.
It is.
Some other favorites of mine are the Red Rock Caves.
Oh my gosh. Shout out. What's his name? Mike? Dave?
Mike.
What?
Mike.
Mike! That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Made one world, very good world, disappeared off the face of the earth.
Then you got Pleasure Street by Naddle.
Oh yeah, the new Naddle stuff is really nice.
Just
Weed reference.
the
And
Viod. We've also. I've got like a metric ton of QXY worlds
oh,
in
of
my
course.
tier list.
You gotta have the QXY worlds. I think
I also love.
I can't
Sorry,
even think of my personal favorite QXY world because I'm supposed
I
to
would
hate
say.
QXY. It's my character trait, but I
Teh.
can't. I love art.
I would say my favorite QXY worlds are probably. I would say it's overall Rainy Apartments, just for the vibe.
Yeah, there's a reason
That
why.
I feel like I've had a dream something similar to that where well, not like in terms of actually being at an apartment, but something about seeing like Urotsuki walk by mirrors and being older or taller, that
Yeah.
hit me on a primal level where it's like I remember once I dreamed I woke up in a hospital and I was an old man. That that shook me.
Dude, when I saw Field of Cosmos for the first time, that really hit me. Like just how
Hmm.
this detailed sprite work stepping out of the building of just the dense flowers all around. I'm like, yeah, that hit. I actually the first time I saw it, I was on call with Autumn, and Autumn was
Yep.
telling me how she cried the first time she saw that world, and I'm like, I understand. No, this is very
I don't
beautiful.
I don't blame her. I mean, I
Um,
kind of felt like it when I saw Rainy Apartments for the first time.
Atabana Gardens, that's
Something.
my favorite QXY world.
I also really like the Unknown Child's Room from Kontetsu.
Oh yeah, uh huh.
The
One of
event in
the
that room is just
one of
freaky
the
and depressing.
one of the first things to ever get a badge, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that the 28 emblem for seeing that event is part of badge drop 1, the first ever drop of badges,
Wow.
along with blue orb and the Ubo
Eh,
event.
it's the meme.
I love the blue orb. It's my thing. It's my meme.
Mhm. A few,
Um,
and then of course, Port City is another amazing place to visit in YNO.
uh-huh. So close to the
And
Nexus 2.
one last shout out I will make is to the giant desktop and our boy Jimbo.
Ah, You know, it's funny. Back when I was testing his update, and I was like the second ever person to fall in love with Jimbo besides Sniper Bob himself. I named
Yeah.
him Bob, Sniper Bob. So I guess you could say that Jimbo is just an extension of that.
Yeah.
His name is like I've been talking to Fixie. It's real Sniper Bob hours a lot lately. We're really good friends, and he loves all stuff Jimbo, all the fan art, all the all the love. He's got plans for a future update, and I
Oh,
can say
snap.
that we will see more Jimbo in that update.
I had no freaking idea he was coming back.
He is. He's working on a giant desktop. He's working on finishing it because you know right now it's unfinished. He's working on finishing
Hell yes!
it.
Okay, consider me hype as fuck.
Hell yeah. Um, Other than that, I was gonna say I have figured out my favorite Quixie world, QXY, however you want to say it. It's Atabana Gardens.
QX, QXY, Kixie, either one.
I When I first saw Atabana Gardens, I fell in love with the music. I was the first one to upload the music onto YouTube, which is why I got like a shit ton of views on my YouTube channel for uploading that OST. So, but when it was first added to YNO, I sat in that area with the little sun hat that you get in Home Within Nowhere when your season is in summer. I sat on that bench near the vending machine for like 3 days straight and YNO. It was great. Now, I heard all of your favorite Tukey worlds. Now,
Yeah.
if I were to put on, let's say hypothetically, a mysterious headset and get teleported to a different world, and were to meet a fantastic ringleader and introduce him to Yume Tukey, what do you think Kane's favorite Tukey worlds would be?
Well, I think Kane's favorite worlds would probably be Gap's Carnage Carnival, and really a lot of Gap's worlds I feel like would be his speed. And he'd also probably really like Kong's new card minigame because it's got penis music in it.
Yes, dude. I saw Kong go through the development. He was posting the like development videos and screenshots of that minigame in my Discord server for a couple months, and I was really hyped to see it finally release. I don't actually think I've checked it out in game myself, but I'm really excited to. I love that Kane loves 80 Year Gap because I love 80 Year Gap. He's my favorite author.
Mhm.
And when I said that in the 80 Year Gap fan club, it got 3 fire emojis. I'm like, guys, I interviewed him. Spoilers: Kane's favorite author is 80 Year Gap. It got 3 fire emoji reactions. We're living
Yeah,
huge.
I can definitely see him loving it. I believe the word I've used to describe his work is kidcore, and I think Kane absolutely kind of qualifies in that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, 80 Year Gap. I love his. I just love the way he does his sprites. They're so adorable all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, I I think the choice of royalty free music is very funny too, and of course the older music with where he would just like shake a cup full of dice or something, and put it to the beat.
Essentially just Foley sound effects.
Yeah, I don't know. Something just stuck with me
It's a,
about 80 Year Gap, and
it's it's very distinctive, and
it's very
in a
distinct.
game like Tuki, like I like the vibe of going from one place to another and just getting a completely different vibe. Like I have
Yeah,
so many dreams like that where I just go from place to place and with no seeming rhyme or reason, and Tuki replicates that feeling like perfectly.
as long as you make art, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to like be quote unquote whatever you would describe as good art. I just like seeing art in the game, and like when was the last time your dreams had good art? Okay, that's what I like to tell people. Like, it's a dream game. I love when it's disconnected and you step into one world and it's completely different from the other. And that's a
I
luxury
mean,
like really only Tuki can have, because the original Yume Nikki was made by one person. So a lot of the
I have
worlds and feelings are very connected.
I mean, sometimes I have dreams that are kind of pretty. I have dreams that are very frightening, and sometimes I'll have them in the same night. So it's just
Right.
kind of like sometimes it'll be ugly and messy.
Sometimes
That's
I
just kind of
dream
how dreams are.
sometimes I dream about an 8,000 by 8,000 omerice labyrinth. But
Oh
that's
Jesus.
just me. I've I mean
I
enough
have never
gushing
looked
about my favorite creator.
I have never looked at omelets the same way ever again ever since traveling that world for the first time.
I feel like Kane would just eat his way through
Oh, absolutely.
it. No time for mazes, really. Um,
Actually, no, he'd create it and think it's the greatest thing ever and put everyone inside thinking, oh, they're going to have a blast. It's all food. People like food, right?
yeah, and then cut like 2 hours later, everyone's dying of dehydration.
And are just like, why can't I get out of here?
Who,
Where did I enter? Where is the exit?
whose impression are you doing there?
Um, that's me attempting to do like a Pomni. I can't do Pomni, really. I can't really I don't know. The only apart from Kane, obviously, the only other digital circus character I can do a decent impression of is Kinger.
Right. I was gonna. Was it your panel at Level Up that did like the that tried to do impressions of other people?
I forget.
Because I saw three panels over the weekend, and I'm for they're kind of blending together. I thought it was
I
really
mean,
funny how the I always find it funny how the quality of questions vary between these panels that I see. I remember your panel had like five different people asking about what the next episode is going to have, even though you said that you couldn't say it at the first time, and then four more people asked. And I thought it was very funny every time. I thought it
the
was
tried and
hilarious.
true response of "You'll have to wait and see."
You'll have to wait and see. My final question is, what's going to happen? And that's the sound of me
In the
getting
next
shot
episode
and
of
die.
Digital Circus,
That's the sound of me getting shot and dying. And now Ghost Me is here asking,
okay.
is there anything you'd like to say to aspiring artists and creators? Just like for Tuki, aspiring voice actors, inspiring anything really. Just people who want to create stuff for this wonderful game and other games that are also wonderful. And
Or just
maybe
art in
not
general.
games.
Well, to that, I would say just put yourself out there. I mean, like YouTube, social media like Twitter and Blue Sky. Like, I mean, like if you can share your work, great, do that because no one's gonna know that you're talented if you don't show that to the world. And yeah, just post more, share more, create more. Eventually, someone's going to notice. And when they do, you never know. They could share it to somebody else who knows a guy who knows a guy. That's how I ended up getting cast in Digital Circus to begin with, because I did a few Spamton fan dubs that Goose really liked. And she was all like, hey, maybe I should make this random ass fan dub guy Kane.
Let's get this guy popular.
Yeah, so again, just put yourself out there. That's my secret.
I feel like I
And
should ask
create
more.
because you're passionate about it.
Yeah,
Like if you're gonna put
yeah,
yourself out there, another thing is like be honest about what you're doing.
yeah.
Like
Don't
do
make
it
stuff
because you
because
love
yeah. Don't make stuff because you think it'll get you popular. Make stuff because you want to make that specifically.
and don't expect to get popular either.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like, it was always said to me, do what you love, the money will come.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
a,
that's
a
about
little
what I
piece
think.
that I would like to personally insert is
Oh, yeah, by all means.
not to worry about being cringe or unappealing. If that sets you back, then don't let it. Really.
Be- Not everyone has to like you. And at the end of the day, be cringe and be free.
If you put something out there and you create something, there is statistically one other person on the planet who's going to also like it. So don't worry about being cringe.
Yeah.
And if
I
nobody
never
else
actually
finds
looked at
it,
it that
create it
way.
for yourself. That's what I like to say. And I feel like I should ask more digital circus questions, but I'm not really
Bah,
that
I
well
already
versed
get
in
it.
the fan. You already get tons of them. You've already gotten tons of them over the weekend.
Exactly. It's so rare that I ever get to talk about this little side hobby. So,
Right, and that's what I wanted to make this interview about is the little side hobby. So I'm
yeah,
thinking I'm doing a good job of that.
I would definitely say you are.
Thank you.
And thank you for having me aboard.
Uh-huh. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy Canadian day, whatever you call it over there. Um,
We just call it day. Or actually, technically, it's, well, in my time, it's actually the evening, but it's still sunny out, so what the hell?
well, if it's sunny out, that means it's daytime. I don't make the
You
rules.
know what? Fair.
Right. I'm very excited to see more from you in both maybe a potential Noel Doof collaboration and
Mhm.
the next episode of the Digital Circus whenever that comes out. Because I'm now a fan after watching all the episodes over the weekend to prepare for this interview. I am now a
Oh, hey.
fan, and we'll watch more.
Well, thank you for supporting Digital Circus, for supporting my work on Tuki, for championing this fun little game that's about dreams,
It's my
art, and
favorite game of all time. I got a champion.
yeah, it's definitely up there for me, I'd say. It's definitely my favorite fan game.
It's not more. It's not because of the game. You know, it's not because of the game
Yeah.
itself. It's because of the people around it and the community that this game has had from all over the world. There's the bad parts and the good parts, but I like to focus on the good parts and
Yeah.
seeing all the art that people make just really
Hmm.
brings a smile to my face every time.
Dreams are something so universal, and it's like it's cool to see how other people dream their ideas, the things that matter to them. And Tuki does all that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and if Tuki can live long enough to become an adult, I hope it lives long enough to become an old man or a woman. Is Tuki? Well, I know that Uratsuki's a girl. Is Tuki a girl too? No
I'm gonna
idea.
say Tuki's a they.
Yeah, live long enough to become an old them. Yep,
Yeah.
and see so many new art, and I want to see all the variables and switches get used up and all the map get filled up, and I want to see this game become 40 gigabytes and unable
Oh
to
god.
run on old computers. And I want to see random people from all over the world throw their art on the wall, see what sticks, see what becomes the next big meme in the community. And I wish great success to anyone watching and aspiring to create. I wish great success onto you in the future of your career.
Why, thank you. And same
And
to you
oh, thank you.
in your endeavors, whatever they may be. Speedrunning, developing if that's something you actually want to do, assisting others in development, any of it.
I already got enough little candy from my connections. I'm
Yeah,
I got some sprites in the game. I got my original character a little hidden out of bounds in one of Bean's worlds.
ooh,
But I don't think I need to create a world. I think I've already spread my little fingers into this game
fair
in a
enough.
good way.
That's kind of how I view it. I
Yeah.
feel like I've made my mark in a small way. Now I just got to focus on like my actual job.
Well, if you ever find the time and you're willing to make more, I would love to see more from you.
All
Um,
right.
awesome. Thank you for this.